Man, this tracker just gave us 3 cards and traded with our entire opponent's board state, basically. I mean, that's cool. Hello and welcome, guys. We are here for the last, 5th and final match with this Valakut Awakening build of Amulet. I've been having a blast so far, and we are 2-2, so we have the potential to maintain our infant value here, getting a league value plus a little bit back if we go 3-2. If not, though, at the very least, we've learned some things about the deck list and had some fun along the way. I know I for sure have. Let me know if you have enjoyed this deck in the comments below. Perhaps I might play it again. I will have some comments about potential changes to the deck list at the end of the video. And yeah, I have nothing else to say about it. Let's just jump straight into the match. All right, we have our match here. All right, well, be on the plate. We're playing against Croxa. My goodness, does this mean our opponent is playing a black-red mid-range deck of some sort? Who can know? We have a hand that would love a turn 1 green source, but we don't have it. And otherwise, we're playing nothing until turn 3. No thanks. All right, this is the version of that hand that has a green source, although we don't have any of the 3-drops anymore, but that's fine. Hopefully, between these 2 stirrings, we'll be able to find an amulet. Might be throwing out Grazer on one here. I think that makes a lot of sense so that we can get a Dryad into play. I think we want both bounce lands as well. So let's get rid of the Sunhome here. We'll be able to play Dryad on turn 2 regardless if we draw it. Dryad or Azusa. And barring that, we can Stirrings and go from there. Are you ready to deal with this 0-3 reach blocker opponent? I don't know that you are. Who is ever truly prepared for Arboreal Grazer to come into play? That's right, nobody. And of course, I'm playing out the Gruul Turf here so that we can have access to as much green mana this upcoming turn as possible, perhaps even play Forest and double Stirrings. If we find an Amulet, then we can use Boros Garrison to pick up the Gruul Turf and make some green mana that way anyway, so we don't really care about that. Our opponent is, in fact, playing a black-red deck. I don't like reading too much into our opponent's names, but it seemed to have applied here. And they take a Stirrings, of course. I would be a little concerned if they didn't. Let's Stirrings here. Amulet off the top. Come on. Drawn Explosives, which could be... Oh, man. Only one choice. Well, I guess we're taking base Forest. We have Drawn Explosives, which I'm not sure is great, in all honesty, but anyways, let's play this Forest out. I think we probably need to try to cast Explosives on 3, so I'm just going to hold on to it. As far as our opponent knows, we just have all lands in hand, because they don't know about the Explosives. They might just go ahead and cast a discard spell here anyways. But, you know, whatever. Forest. Uh-oh. Playing against Jund. Assassin's Trophy our land, huh? Well, we've got basics for days. Titan. Alrighty then. I mean, I guess we're playing Garrison. And let's go ahead and attack for 0 here. Pass it back. Gotta send a message, you know. I refuse to believe that our opponent will have something for 3 mana that they want to haste and attack 3 Grazer with. It just won't happen. Thoughtseize. Boo. Get out of here. We probably still want to play Explosives on 3 for Liliana of the Veil. It's a little unclear, though. Our opponent could have Renaissance. Well, never mind. Who cares? Doesn't matter. We have all lands. Our opponent has no clock, so I'm pretty okay with this. We can double strike our Grazer starting this upcoming turn. I am not going to attack this time. I definitely might double strike the Grazer and get in for damage, though. We will really see. Definitely keeping the Sunhome here. One's pretty clear. I kind of want to top deck a land just so we can do the thing where we make the meme. Don't let your memes be dreams is the terminology. Talaria West, huh? Talaria West, huh? Man, now it's probably like strictly incorrect to play the Sunhome. I mean, there's no way that we're ever transmuting Tolaria West here, even if we draw like a Dryad or something. So I don't see a reason not to play the Sunhome. I'm gonna just do it. Meme value, guys. Don't think this Tolaria West matters at all. Let's attack Liliana of the Veil with our double striking 0/3. You gotta get some amount of enjoyment out of your games of Magic. If all you're drawing is lands, then just go ahead and double strike your 0/3. It's worth it, guys. I promise. We're cultured individuals here. Wouldn't block this Bloodbraid Elf anyways, so definitely want something to sacrifice to a Liliana minus if we do manage to somehow get a Titan into play. What did they cascade into? Liliana of the Veil. Well, of course they didn't want to get rid of their Liliana that's about to ultimate us. Ancient Stirrings. What can we find? Bounce land, I guess, would possibly be the best thing. All right, bounce land it is. If we top deck a Titan, then we can cast it this upcoming turn. Let's pick up our Forest. Yeah, that's 6 mana. All right, here we go. Titan into play against our opponent's Liliana on 6. Don't know exactly how that does. All right, Titan off the top or bust. Let's go. Titan. Primeval Boy. Oof. Valakut Awakening, huh? Not really doing it. I guess we just hold on to that one. This is probably just a loss. We'll see, though. We'll play it out to its bitter conclusion. I wonder if our opponent goes up with the Liliana. They definitely could. We might end up helping our opponent out by double striking their Bloodbraid at some point in time. Yep. Well, now our opponent's probably going to plus their Lily and make us discard the Valakut that we've been holding on to. Guess we could have played that one as a land, but I was kind of anticipating our opponent minusing, and we would want to not give them the information that we had an additional land, or hold up Valakut Awakening to potentially cast. But them having Pillage main deck definitely was not something that I was expecting here. I mean, we can't not play our land drops, so let's do that. I don't know. There's probably no way that we can win this game, so picking up the Forest. Sucks that we're going to discard it to Lily if they uptick it and not have double green in play, but it's better than picking up the Sunhome and giving them a guaranteed value land to make us discard instead of just ultimating. Tarmogoyf, okay. Yeah, I think this game has been over for a while. And they do go ahead and -6. I think we'll just keep whatever side has the most mana. Yep. Sacrifice the Grazer and the Garrison. Who needs them? We don't. How are we ever getting out of this? What is this going for? 5/6? I guess we're just dead this upcoming turn no matter what. A miracle? Off the top? Terminus? Castle Garenbrig. That is nobody's miracle. Alright, well, not a surprising loss, but at least we got to double strike our Grazer for free. It's pretty good value. Bailoff looking pretty tasty here. Tireless Tracker, let's go. Beast Within, don't mind if I do. Not really a big fan of Dismember for this matchup personally. Grazers, not really what we're looking for here, although they do give us something to sacrifice against Liliana of the Veil, but I mean, I feel like that's a little too fringe to include Grazer, although it doesn't make it look kind of stupid that we're not playing Colony Garden in the list, so that's definitely something to consider for the deck tech, or post-league deck tech. Trim Summoner's Pact so we don't lose to Fulminator Mage, Pillage, that kind of ilk. Azusa seems good. 4 Explosives is a lot for a matchup like this, but I think Explosives is very good. I don't know. I'm pretty inclined to keep them. Trim a second Summoner's Pact, I think. We already know our opponents on Pillage. They probably have things like Cleansing Wildfire or Fulminator Mage as well. Don't want to give them good targets. Cavern Souls doesn't do anything. Yeah. Let's go. We'll be on the play. I guess there's some consideration to being on the draw, so we get the extra card, especially if our opponent's going to be trying to blow up our lands anyways. And this hand's extremely slow. we can expose ourselves to Cleansing Wildfire by playing Growth Chamber on 2 so that we can guaranteedly cast Dryad on 3. If we draw an untapped source, then we don't have to expose ourselves. But we only have exactly one draw step for that, and otherwise we kind of just get blown out by things like Pillage, Fulminator Mage, Cleansing Wildfire for the rest of the game. I don't know. I think this hand, not very great. Alright, this hand at least doesn't get blown out by land destruction, so we'll keep this. We even have a fetch line to play around Blood Moon. I think we can get rid of the Sun Home here pretty safely. Sure. Done. Alright, let's play out this Garen Brig and pass it back. Trying to withhold this fetch until we know exactly what we need to get with it. See if our opponent is giving us cause to play around Blood Moon. Even if they do have Blood Moon, we can always Awakening through Blood Moon to try to find basic lands and answers. This particular Jund opponent feels a little more like playing against the black-red mid-range decks, although they did show us Bloodbraid Elf and Tarmogoyf. I don't know, but Pillage main deck is kind of a weird one. Jund Ponza, I guess. There goes the Valakut Awakening. They're more scared of the Awakening than they are of this Dryad, huh? Talari West is a nice one. Okay, let's go ahead and get this Heath into play, so we can so we can play Castle Garen Brig during our next turn and have it enter untapped with the force that we're inevitably going to find with this Heath. Comes another discard spell. No. Dark Confidant. Okay. Yeah. It's a Dark Confidant. Our opponent is on a basic land over here. I'm going to be ultra safe and play around Blood Moon. And I don't think there's a whole lot of cost to it, so Radiant Fountain is a very nice one. All right, let's use that one. We'll play this Dryad here. And if we were to top deck a untapped source, then we could hold this Talari West to discard to a Liliana of the Veil, play untapped source, Garen Brig, cast Titan. If we play the Talari West here, then a single discard spell takes us out of Titan range. Discard spell, a single Liliana of the Veil activation. But we can also transmute Talari West using our Dryad ability here. I don't know. I think it's probably arbitrarily correct to play the T-West. If our opponent does have a Liliana, I could easily see them just making us sacrifice the Dryad, in which case we just go Garen Brig Titan. And that's pretty good. Our opponent wouldn't even be able to minus on our Titan after that point either. So, and if they do the wise thing by going up with the Liliana, then we can still just spike an untapped source off the top. Dryad fixing for all of our colors and slam Titan. So even something like a Sun Home or a Slayer Stronghold would let us cast Titan in that scenario. Kind of an interesting spot here. Do we block? I think we do block. This Confidant's going to give us problems going down the line. Expose ourselves to Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt or any number of things, but we don't really care that much about that. We're about to cast Titan, so Damping Sphere. Well, we're not about to cast Titan at all. Crumbling Vestige is an interesting one. Alright, well, let's get second Garen Brig into play and pass it back. Of course, playing out a green source here over the Vestige, which is just a colorless source. Wah wah. Our opponent is on 0 green lands. Interesting. Well, I take it back. Liliana, alright, we'll discard the Vestige and again hope to top deck that untapped source. If we draw anything that's not an untapped source, then we probably just keep it in hand and continue to do this until we either cast a Titan or die waiting. They discard Forest. I guess they're not on Blood Moon. There's the untapped source. Okay, well, Garen Brig looking very, very nice here. We're casting Titan, but of course our opponent's going to minus Liliana to make a sacrifice. So this is where something like Colony Garden would really shine. Instead, we can get a blue source like Talari West and a bounce land, pick up the bounce land, and even though it doesn't tap for like a blue, like we can get Garrison or any of the bounce lands, it doesn't matter. We can still float the blue with the Talari West and pick up a Talari West with the bounce trigger and then be able to transmute it. So that's probably the play. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. I don't think Bojuka Bog does anything here. I think I'd rather have the guaranteed Titan, potentially, so... And let's get the Garrison, I suppose. For no particular reason. We want to pick up the bounce land here for sure, though. Our opponent is basically guaranteed to minus on a Titan, unless they happen to have Trophy for the Titan. But Anyways. Now we can transmute for Pact this upcoming turn, keeping whatever we draw in hand, unless we, of course, top deck a Titan, which we might not even play into our opponent's possible Liliana minus. We'll see about that. But regardless, if we don't draw something that we want to play like a Primeval Titan, then we'll just keep whatever we draw in hand and have access to that to discard to the Lily and then Pact 4 and cast Titan all in one turn this upcoming turn. I guess the turn after, I suppose, would be more appropriate to say. Our opponent is playing Seasoned Pyromancer to go looking. They discard Thoughtseize and Verdant Catacombs. Oh, they discarded just the Thoughtseize, right? They only had one card in hand. What am I saying? Catacombs has been in there for a while. Goodbye, Primeval Titan. Hardly knew ye. Snow Forest. That sounds like a great one to discard. Let's pick up a T-West. Let's transmute that T-West. Yeah, I think that we don't really have a choice but to just go for another Titan here. Explosives to get rid of the Liliana doesn't even work because we don't have colored sources thanks to Damping Sphere. I guess it's just Summoner's Pact, and if our opponent Inquisitions away our Summoner's Pact, then I guess it's just top decking another Summoner's Pact or Titan. Again, we're really getting hurt by the fact that we don't have anything to sacrifice to keep our Titan safe. So Calling Garden might have been the difference between winning this match and losing this match, if we lose this game, of course. Not a great look. Definitely not a great look. Yep, we kept this force in hand specifically for this, although it's not like we could have played 2 land drops anyways. Get out of here, Forest. Unfortunate that our turns line up exactly so that we could get Titan into play. They minus to make us, like, sacrifice it. Then we transmute Solari West, pass, and then they get to uptick to 2 to then have another minus for our next Titan after this. So Training Titan's not really working in our favor here, sadly. We kind of need to find, like, a Beast Within, perhaps, so we can deal with the Liliana before we slam our Titan. I suppose we could also pact for Obstinate Baloth in response to a Liliana plus. That's a thought. We probably would not be able to deal with the Liliana that way, though. Our opponent is on 1 card, but they're getting rid of our garrison. Sure. To be honest, the basic force might be better here than the garrison, so... like, okay. There's a clock. We do have a Tireless Tracker that we could pact for. That's definitely a reasonable line. Well, there's the Obstinate Baloth. This gives us something to discard to the Liliana plus. So that's great. So I guess we just want to pass, because if we pact for the Titan and cast it, then our opponent just minuses Liliana on us, and we don't even get the Baloth in play. So our hope here is that our opponent does just go ahead and plus Liliana, and we put this Baloth into play and eat up one of our opponent's attackers, possibly. I don't know if they would attack into Baloth, so that's probably not going to happen. But at the very least, be able to clock our opponent's Liliana and get rid of it. Okay, so Baloth is going into play, but we're not going to be able to kill our opponent's Liliana with the Baloth, since they are assuredly not going to attack. They got rid of Boil. Probably not a card that they should be boarding in against us, in all honesty. It does require us to have a Dryad remaining in play. It is kind of a hot debate, though, whether Boil is a card you should be bringing in against Primeval Titan decks with Dryad or not. Dark Confidant. Yikes. I mean, I guess we have a creature in play to sacrifice to the Liliana minus now. Another Summoner's Pact, huh? So, I mean, I guess it's just Titan. They can minus to eat up our Baloth, but then we get to keep Titan in play for another turn cycle. Yeah, I think that's just the move, and then we can pact for Tracker after that, put Tracker into play, and get a bunch of clues off of a Titan attack. Seems like a plan. Yup. Let's get the last remaining Solari West and a bounce land, I suppose. Yeah, let's go with the Growth Chamber. Pick up the Bounce Land, of course. And yeah, we're done. They can minus on us to get rid of this Baloth. If they uptick, we'll just pitch the Growth Chamber. And that'll be fine. My opponent reveals Dark Confidant with Dark Confidant, the classic. There's the Dark Confidant. They're putting it into play. Would love to kill our opponent with their own Dark Confidant triggers. Don't know how likely that one is. We can also transmute for Engineered Explosives and play and blow it up on 2. This is looking like a really good Explosives for 2 kind of board as well. We do have blue mana, although it would have to be over 2 turns. They're upticking. Alright, I guess we're getting rid of this Growth Chamber. We are probably supposed to serve everything at this Liliana, I think. We're going to end up getting our Titan destroyed by these 3 guys, and the Baloth might connect, or they might chump with a Dark Confidant. A little debatable, but interesting that our opponent uptakes Ren after having discarded the Liliana. That's okay, though. Yeah. So let's, oh, we have to pay this pack trigger. Forgot about that one. That's alright. Okay. I mean, we can still play Tracker here, so not the hugest of deals. Stomping Ground. So we even get a land for turn clue from Tracker as well. Yeah, I think that's going to be better than transmuting Talari West, at least for the moment. Our attack will probably get double bounce land, so we can guarantee that we have a bounce land in hand here to pick up a Talari West. And the Stomping Ground also means that we have a second color through the Damping Sphere, so that's nice. Let's see if we can ride this Tracker to victory, huh? And let's just send everything at Liliana, I think. Yep. We want Growth Chamber and, I guess, Drool Turf. And we'll pick up both of these bounce lands. Actually, I suppose we can leave a bounce land in play. I don't think there's really a reason to do that, though. Nah, let's just keep both in hand. They're putting Dark Confidants in front of our Trampling Primeval Titan. That's interesting. This doesn't seem like the most efficient way to block. I guess they're getting both of our attackers out of play. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is fine. Yeah. All that's good. Alright, so we're losing our Tracker, but at least we got 3 cards out of the deal and our entire opponent's board state. Plus their Liliana is now down to 3, which is nothing to laugh at. Yeah, we might have a chance here. We're even insulated from Blood Moon here, since we do have double basic land to pay for our pack trigger, so things are not looking bad. I assume our opponent's going to minus Liliana here. That's the only thing that makes sense about why our opponent did that. They do. Tracker's down. Man, this Tracker just gave us 3 cards and traded with our entire opponent's board state, basically. I mean, that's cool. We can definitely win this fight. Our opponent knows that we have 2 bounce lands in hand here. We did put them into play and pick both of them up, so yeah. Let's pay for this packed trigger. Alright, yep. Dryad. So we can't transmute for Valakut this turn. We can play Dryad and sacrifice a clue. Our opponent can't deal with a Dryad, so it would give us a chance to potentially kill Liliana, so we definitely are supposed to be playing our Dryad here. Which I will do. And I mean, I guess we crack Clue here to see if we find anything relevant. Slayer Stronghold. That one is relevant with Dryad in play, so we'll play it out. And, yeah, I guess we're just passing. I don't think there's a reason to pick up a card other than a bounce land to discard to our opponent's Lily. I guess if we potentially get this Damping Sphere out of play, then it represents 2 mana. I don't know how relevant that is. I'm just going to play the Growth Chamber. I have a feeling it could be relevant, so we'll get rid of one of these green sources. I don't think that'll be the end of the world. You still have a bounce land in hand here, so that's fine. No, you know what? That actually was a huge mistake. Because we could have used one bounce land to pick up Tolaria West and transmute for Valakut, and then the other bounce land to repeatedly trigger Valakut. Okay, well, at least we have some additional draw steps here to find another bounce land or something like that. Cycling Forgotten Cave is fine for me. They're going to uptick Ren and get it back to dig even further. I did forget that they have the ability to make these elemental tokens. Seems and Pyromancer coming back from the graveyard is not something that often matters against Amulet, but it is very potent here. Any creature to haste with our stronghold would be good here. Tarmogoyf. Never mind. Explosives is the card. I mean, I guess we're about to find explosives, so... Alright, goodbye. Garenbrig that we picked up. I don't know. Whether it's correct to play the Growth Chamber there or not is debatable, because it is also very likely our opponent will have some kind of way to kill our Dryad or Brick Wall it, and in which case, if we blow up the 2-drops, including the Damping Sphere, then we have an additional way to transmute a second Tolaria West after picking one up, which I think is exceedingly relevant. There's another Growth Chamber. Guess it didn't matter. Alright, Explosives on 2 blows up the Wren, the Damping Sphere, and the Tarmogoyf, and then we can clock Liliana. I suppose... Let's see, 1, 2, 3 Explosives for 2 and blow it up would leave us with 3 mana, which is not enough to use a Grazer to like haste and get a second attacker. So I don't think there's any reason to try Explosives on 0 here or crack a clue beforehand, thinking that that might be a line. All right, I guess we're just doing the Explosives thing. Let's get a blue source into play yet again. Transmute. Stop to think if there's any reason to float some colored mana, but if they had an interaction for our Dryad, then we'd be able to just float the mana in response, so no big deal. Alright, let's make a red. Let's make a green. Suppose it's on 2, but then our opponent Liliana's our Dryad. Dryad is one of the things that we have going here. Explosives for 3 doesn't deal with the Goyf or the Damping Sphere, though, so I guess it has to be Explosives for 2. It's not my ideal choice of number here. And let's go ahead and blow that one up. I don't think picking up the Tolaria West does anything here if we play out the Growth Turf, so let's not do that. I guess we could transmute for Valakut. I think we've already played a land drop, though, so we couldn't play it. No, let's not do that. Let's just go ahead and blow up this Explosives. Cool. We'll clock this Liliana. They're gonna chump, so there's no point in using Stronghold. We'll crack a clue. Give us an additional card off the top here. Cool. Yep. We're kind of inching our way back into this game. We've used... How many Summoners packs? 1. Is it just 1? I think we've cast at least 2. There's 2. So we still have a couple packs left in deck for this Tolaria West thing. Our opponent's found a Raging Ravine. That one's actually surprisingly good here. I don't know if we have Ghost Quarter in the deck. It's not in the sideboard. Let me check the main deck. No Ghost Quarter. So, no real way to deal with this Ravine at the moment. Although, Titan might just very easily outpace Ravine. Oh, they are going to go on the uptick plan, huh? They're not making a sacrifice Dryad. I appreciate that, opponent. Thank you. We'll draw a card with a clue here. Keep this bounce land. Thank you. Valakut incoming. Vesuva. Ooh, I think we gotta keep the Vesuva over the bounce land here. We do have bounce lands in hand, so that's fine. See if our opponent casts a discard spell thinking we found a Titan and are trying to protect it. Clock with the Elemental, please. Alright, let's draw here. Stirrings. That could find a Valakut. Do we clue first? I don't know. If we clue first, then that means we get one additional look at finding Valakut exactly. And it also informs if we play the Stirrings at all. think we're supposed to clue first. There it goes. Azusa. I mean, that would give us lots of Valakut triggers. Alright, let's Stirrings. Valakut. Nope. Bajuka Bog, however, is interesting. Another bounce land is good, too. I think I'm inclined to take the bounce land here. I don't care if our opponent top decks a Goyf at this point. Too bad we couldn't pick up Valakut Awakening. Alright, well, we're gonna get this Valakut into play then, I guess. Let's go ahead and cast Azusa as well, though. I guess we're gonna end up having to discard a card if we do that, but... do we discard the Azusa? I think that we do, actually. I think we leave the Azusa to discard the Liliana. No, actually, Liliana's going to minus and get rid of our Dryad, so I think we have to play the Azusa anyways, and then just plan to top deck some lands, I suppose. Alright. Azusa. Leaving Transmuting mana available. We want the Vesuva in play, so this will be fine. We'll pick up the Talari West. Actually, we can just kill the Liliana with Valakut triggers, can't we? I don't know why I'm being dumb. Alright, here's the Valakut. Play the Valakut. Alright, goodbye, Liliana. Will not miss you. Definitely will not miss you. Rule Turf. Actually, we can use our last land drop to copy Valakut and not have to worry about discarding a card. I don't know how many land drops we've played, though. We definitely played one to pick up the Talari West. This is a second one. Let's just go and see, however. Alright. So, we started the turn by cluing, Stirrings, played Vesuva as a growth chamber, pick up Talari West, transmuted, played Valakut, played Gruul Turf after that, I do believe. So we played Vesuva, Valakut, Gruul Turf. That's 3 lands. We have 4 land drops, so this is about to be our last land drop. So we need to pick up Vesuva and play it as a copy of Valakut here. Sure. We'll kill... Actually, let's just point all the triggers upstairs. We need to always guess the second one. Slowly making our way through this. Attack for 2. Our opponent either blocks or doesn't. Probably doesn't matter. I think we might actually be winning this game, which is pretty crazy. We even have Slayer Stronghold to haste here. Tarmogoyf. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. No land, though. Crazy. Crazy. Alright, well, let's just pass it back, I guess. Sure. Our opponent could have activated Ravine and got in for some pointed damage, but they didn't. They might regret that if we continue to not top deck lands here. They were probably certain that we were going to kill them with a land. Did not find it. We're giving our opponent time to draw a removal spell for our Dryad as well, which is not ideal. 7-8 Goyf, no problem. Don't feel like blocking with Azusa and then losing Dryad to Liliana minus, so that's the reason for not doing that. Land. Amulet. Let's just keep that one in hand to discard as well. Not attacking into our opponent's Ravine here. It's not worth losing. Actually, it only becomes a 3-3, right? Yeah, so we actually can attack into the Ravine here and activate Stronghold. So this is fine. And if they fall for blocking, then we can Slayer Stronghold something. We don't have obvious white mana, but we have white mana through Dryad here. They are activating Ravine, it looks like. That's cool. All right, let's see what they block. Definitely the Dryad, right? Maybe they are trying to block and kill the Azusa. I'd much rather get this Ravine out of play than have an Azusa anyways. All right, white, red, boom. Stronghold looking pretty nice here. All right, let's play our other Azusa, keeping the amulet in hand as discard fodder. Pass it back. Don't answer our Dryad, please. Do not do it. Land is great, although they might have already had that one in hand. A. All right, we got this game here. We got one more game left in 7 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. I definitely slogged through that game pretty slow. Don't think I want to make any changes, however. All right, let's just run it back. Let's just run it back. Whew, that was a rough game. Believe it or not, I have not played Amulet that very long, so I can't say I've ever played a game like that or as grindy as that, so that's why it takes me so long to figure this stuff out. Definitely learning here. Turn 1 Amulet, unless our opponent has discard spell, but we have all the lands in the world. Natty Bog here, natural Bajuka Bog in hand. Very good against our Tarmogoyf opponent. And a Baloth to discard to Liliana Plus. This is the snappiest keep of snap keeps that there is. Even if we were on a mold 6, I'd still keep this. Inquisition to take probably... Ooh, I actually don't know what they take here. Amulet. Makes sense. Let's get this Heath into play. Pass it back. Don't know if we need to fetch for a basic or a tap land. That's why we're trying to get this Heath out of the way as fast as possible. They do nothing and pass. Alright, well, let's get some life value here off of Radiant Fountain and pass it back. As we know, our opponent is playing Damping Sphere, which means fetching for Stomping Ground is actually relatively relevant here. Relatively relevant. Because the second colored source of mana will allow us to play Explosives on 2 and pop it. Although we do have Bog for that, so maybe it's worth playing around Blood Moon here. We'll see if they just play Forest Blood Moon. I doubt that they're playing Blood Moon when they have both Pillages and Damping Spheres in their deck, so opponent's on no third land drop. I like the sound of that. Alright, I'm not playing around Blood Moon. Let's get the Stomping Ground. Now we can Explosives on 3, potentially. Right. Azusa. Bog our opponent. Actually, let's bog ourselves, because there's no way there's ever going to be another artifact in the graveyard without our choice. Talaria West seems fine here. And next turn, if our opponent doesn't kill our Azusa, of course, then we can play Bounce Land after floating a mana, and then play land again, so if we top deck a Titan, we can then go ahead and cast it, so we don't need to be worried about that. Now if we draw Crumbling Vestige, we can play Vestige, float a blue, play Bounce Land, pick up, after floating with Talaria West, pick it up, and then transmute it. That's the reason to play out Talaria West there. Bolt Azusa, you got it. You got it, opponent. This Goyf is now a 4/5. I don't know why it's not more clear to be able to see that on the card, unless you zoom in on it like this, but that's okay. Our opponent does have the clock in play. Titan. That's not Titan. Do we just slam the Baloth? I think that we do. It allows us to clock our opponent back and say, how do you like it when we do this to you? Let's go ahead and get Stomping Ground into play. Again, don't want to give our opponent a juicy target for a Pillage or something like that. If they play Lilian Uptech and making us discard this Gruul Turf, I'm willing to pay that price. Not to mention Stomping Ground is better in the advent of a disastrous Damping Sphere, of course. We just have, 4 different colors of mana in play. Totally normal, Not blocking our opponent's 4/5 with our 4/4. Basic economics here. Liliana of the Veil. Krenko, excuse me? 3 mana to 1/2. Whenever it attacks, put a +1 counter on it, and then create a number of 1/1 goblins equal to its power. That one won't be attacking into Baloth anytime soon. That's a very unusual one to see, though. Amulet's not doing a whole lot here. I suppose if we play it, that means that a top deck Talaria West would do it in 2 turns or whatever. That was going to be the case without Amulet. But I was going to say a top deck Simic Growth Chamber lets us transmute Talaria West. Maybe could have played the Gruul Turf here to get maximum mana. That way we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, just 9 exactly. Yeah, so not playing Gruul Turf means that if we did top deck exactly Growth Chamber right now, we're 1 short of casting Titan, which is kind of sad. Kill the Baloth. Oh, Bloodbraid Elf. Please don't kill the Baloth. Do not do it, opponent. You don't want to do it. You really don't. Let's just top deck exactly Titan and make this easy peasy. Thoughtseize. That one's a fine one for you to top deck, opponent. Goodbye me. Bloodbraid Elf resolves. And they get to attack for 3 here if they want to sacrifice their Krenko. Alright, we'll dutifully take the 4 damage here. Still has not grown. I was about to say 5. Titan. Titan. Stronghold. Nope. That one's not quite doing it for me. Let's pick up the Bog here. Sure. We'll pick up the Bog. And that way, next turn, we can shrink our opponent's Goyf, stop getting clocked by that one. Still holding up our Baloth to keep this Krenko at bay. And the Bloodbraid Elf, technically, I suppose. I'm glad our opponent had this Krenko and not, like, I don't know, something relevant. Do we discard the Stronghold here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see, Dryad. Down to 6 mana. Play land for turn up to 8. Is 1 short of casting Titan if we top deck Dryad. Anything else is relevant? Nah, I think we probably just want to pitch... I don't know, I suppose if we draw another Talari West, then discarding the bounce land here would be bad against that. We definitely need the Bog to deal with our opponent's Kroxa as well. I'm just going to pitch the Stronghold here. Need to be faster on the clock. We have 5 minutes left. Our opponent's at 8, so we're not that far behind on clock, but definitely something to be aware of. Alright, we'll yield to this. 2 creatures here, huh? Alright, well, let's get rid of this guy. We're at 3. Come on. Titan. Tarmogoyf. Okay, that's not great for us. Titan. Titan, please. We need you. Titan. Oh, Growth Chamber. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's Titan. Cool. Is Titan good enough here? Let's just get Vesuva copying Radiant Fountain up to 5. And what else? Bounce land, I guess, it would be the best. Although we've already played land. Up to 5. Block. Take... Oh no, block. Take exactly 5 is not good enough. What else can we do here? We can get Dryad, Bog. Goyf becomes a 2/3. We go block, still take lethal. We can get... I think Titan still is not good enough here. We have Baloth in play already. I think we might just be dead regardless. We could Tracker, we don't have any land drops. Razor lets us get Bog into play. Exile our opponent's graveyard. Block, still dead. Yeah, I think we're still dead here. We needed to do the Bog thing a turn sooner. Still gonna be Titan, I think. Our opponent just has to attack and we're dead. Just a little too slow here. Let's get Vesuva, and the other one doesn't really matter. Let's just go with the Talari West. Yeah, if our opponent sees the line, and by that I mean lethal on board, then we're dead. Just yield here and see if they see it. Kalidas, huh? Yep, we're dead. Let's just go ahead and assign some blocks to prove it. Dead to Xaxes. Dang, man. Well, we're 2-3, and we have learned some valuable information. You could even say that we lost due to the lack of a Colony Garden. A very innocuous-looking card, but definitely has a drastic impact, I would say. And against some of the more aggressive decks, we were really missing the 4th Grazer. I think that another Grazer is warranted. 4 Valakut Awakenings is a lot as well. I think 3 is sufficient. Let's get to that colony in here. Alright, what can we cut for colony? Maybe a Stomping Ground? Stomping Ground doesn't seem the most necessary, especially since Awakening can tap for red itself before just picking up and casting it, so it's probably fine. I feel like 4 explosives in the sideboard is a little too much. It was a good thought experiment, but 3 usually covers it, I would think. Tracker seems very good. Yeah, those are the changes that I would make. Let me know what you think, what changes you would make. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. And I hope that you enjoyed this match, this league. I think we might be playing some Karn Amulet in the next league. Or I do have a green-white Reclaimer build that I've brewed up for the sake of playing, of course. And it's quite a unique one. Let me go ahead and format the deck here real quick. Alright guys, this is the deck list. If you do want to see this deck in action and a full deck tech explaining the card choices and what's going on, then let me know in the comments, and I can make that happen. But there was a comment requesting that we play some Karn, so let me know what your personal preference is. I might go ahead and play this one first, just because I just recently came up with this and I'm excited to play it. But let me know what you prefer in the comments below. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.